Hi there everyone, welcome back to Cody's Lab. So I have a new little toy which is paid for by my Patreon supporters. Let's have a little closer look at that. You see it's a vacuum gauge. This is a thermoelectric type, so it shouldn't matter that it's actually inside the chamber, because it's all it is it's a heater and a temperature detector thermometer. So it's got a heater and a thermometer, and they measure the temperature difference between the two to estimate what the how conductive the medium is. If the medium's a perfect vacuum, it shouldn't be conductive of heat at all, except for the radiation. And I assume it's very well calibrated because this is a very expensive device. And yeah, I was getting at that it shouldn't matter that it's actually inside the chamber, because it really makes no difference to it. Because as long as the internal parts of it are evacuated, it'll work just fine. So my mercury gauge is up there. It started to read a low pressure. And this one, it should have started reading a pressure, but it probably hasn't reached a temperature differential yet. It probably still thinks it's in an atmosphere. So I'll wait a little while and see if that actually starts reading. It's one thing I like about the mercury gauge is it's immediate and you can easily see it. But this ought to be a good calibration test to see just how incorrect my mercury gauge is. The mercury gauge, I'd say it's probably plus or minus 2 millimeters of mercury, because there's a little bit of cohesion with the glass and the mercury, so it'll actually hang up a little bit, so you're not getting a true reading. But I've been taking that into account in most of my videos. I don't think I did in a couple, but yeah, this is taking a long time. I think it should have responded faster than this. I'll give it another few minutes. Which is kind of not good, because according to the specification sheet that I got here, the thing will shut itself off after 5 minutes of inactivity. So if it takes more than 5 minutes to reach the vacuum, then or start reading the vacuum, then it's absolutely no good to me. Well, I'm going to pause the video. I'll come back if it starts doing anything. Okay, so it has started to do something. You can see that little bar is now on the bottom row. That means that it's measuring between 50,000 and 25,000 microns, and there it is. Now it's below 25,000 and it's reading a number. Of course, 25,000 microns is 25 millimeters of mercury, so this is obviously wrong at the moment, but it should hopefully reach a point where it's actually correct. So once it stops falling, I'll imagine that'll be the actual reading. If it doesn't manage to do it, I'm just going to send the thing back. Well, either that or I'll get a different vacuum chamber and actually have a port on the outside that I can plug it into. That way I can, or maybe even make like an automatic button pusher, like every 4 minutes, just restart the device. I don't know if that would actually be good for it. Alright, now it's reading about the same as what the mercury gauge is reading. But I expect it to go down a little bit farther. So the gauge appears to have reached a point where it's stopped decreasing its number that it's given me. It's kind of bouncing back and forth. And apparently, according to specifications, it should be plus or minus 10% of the actual value. So it seems reasonable to me. So that's 3.5 millimeters of mercury. That probably indicates that I've got a bit of a leak in my chamber, or actually more probably I need to replace my vacuum oil. But yeah, it's about 4 or 5 millimeters on the mercury gauge, 3.5-ish on the precision vacrometer. I'd say those two match fairly closely. And it turned off. I don't know if I caught that. I turned the camera on just as it was doing it. I was just about to say that it didn't turn off after the 5 minutes, but turns out it did. Yep. Okay. So it does turn off even when it's under vacuum, and I'm doing things. That's annoying. Like, what if my thing is lasting longer than that? Obviously it was designed to be outside the chamber and just hooked up to it. If you guys have this unit and you know how to fix that, let me know. Otherwise I might have to jerry rig something or possibly even send it back. Because I'd like to run it inside the chamber so I can have it on screen with you. I suppose I could hook it up into the vacuum pump, but then you won't be able to see it on the camera. Or I guess I could move the camera, but... Alright. Well, I was going to do a test where I unplug the vacuum pump and see how fast the pressure comes back, but it doesn't look like it's happening, so hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.